Coming up on this week's edition of AU Hoop Talk, we'll look back to the big win over the BU Terriers and forward to the game against the Lafayette Leopards. And we'll recap the Cassell Hall of Fame induction. AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan starts right now. And welcome into AU Hoop Talk, and the Eagles coming off a big win at home against the Boston University Terriers, completing the regular season sweep of the Terriers and also snapping the 7-game losing streak, and that had to have been a big sigh of relief and a big load off.
Absolutely. I mean, the guys, like I said before, they've been working, so to actually have a win, a tangible result for all your hard work is important. So, they got the smile, have fun in the locker room and sort of enjoy the night, and hopefully it'll help us get ready for Lafayette.
Now take us down the stretch, take us in the huddle to a couple of the timeouts and sort of what was going on both in your mind and what you were telling the guys as well as the guys and what they were saying to each other.
Yeah, well, I think just finishing out each possession, offensively and defensively, you got to make plays, at this point in the game. And Marvin was one guy that stood out to me. He got a big offensive rebound. He was aggressive. He drove. He made a nice play where he got cut off on his drive and he found Sam on the perimeter. So I think guys just continuing to get more comfortable, and once they get comfortable, they can sort of be as aggressive as Marvin was last night. Trying to get Stacy to that point. He's still a little apprehensive because he's trying to figure out his place in time. So once he figures that stuff out, I think he'll be able to be more aggressive and more effective.
How tough is that for a young guy like Stacy that you're trying to get more minutes as the season evolves in getting him to feel more comfortable? Because obviously he has the talent. Right. It's just a matter of him, I guess, feeling comfortable and getting maybe a little bit more aggressive at certain points.
Yeah, it's just reps, just practice and reps. For him, he picks things up very quickly. Our entire team, it's a real coachable group. So you're telling them certain things and they sort of pick things up. But Stacy especially, you tell him once or twice and he gets it. He understands. He has a good basketball mind. So I think as he continues to get this experience, you'll see him get into the hole more, and he's been knocking down shots and looking pretty good the last few games. So hopefully that continues.
Now with the win, take us in the locker room immediately afterwards. How excited were the guys? How relieved were the guys? What was the overall mentality?
Yeah, a little bit of both. And seeing that we can do it. It's like we've been telling them, and they've been putting themselves in the position to be there at the end. For most of our games, so to finally get over the hump, I think it's a big sort of mental block that they've gotten past now. Hopefully, so we'll see. But they were all happy, jumping around, the typical locker room after a win.
Now, we talk a lot about Sam Iorio. He had another huge game, but especially the play where he stole the ball away, and when the game was tied at 55 apiece, stole it, came down, stuck a three, and gave you guys the lead for good.
Yeah, well, Sam's a beast, man. He just makes plays. He's a winner. He shares the ball. He's calm, confident. And we knew he was going to be that type of player, but I think now that he's like I said, just getting comfortable, he sort of knows where his openings are. And he's blocking shots, he's getting rebounds, he's doing a little bit of everything.
And you mentioned that. Let's look at his stat line. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 blocks. Just the 5th Division I player in the last 8 years to come away with a stat line like that. That's pretty impressive.
It definitely is for a freshman to do it. But with all our players, we give them freedom and opportunity to just make plays. So it's not just the point guard doing all the dribbling and getting the ball screen and sort of pigeonholing guys. Everyone sort of has the freedom to do as much as they can do. And a guy like Sam, is just taking complete advantage of that.
Thanks to Patrick Stevens, who's a big-time college basketball stats guy, for pointing that out, and also pointing out that Tony Rablicki had a line just like that. So another AU guy.
Yeah, exactly. And we threw the ball at Tony, every single possession over and over and over. So again, it just everybody touches the ball. So whether you're a guard, a wing, a center, it doesn't matter. If you're good, you got opportunity to do stuff.
And the interesting thing is, you look at Sam, and you look at the list. He's the only rookie, and he's the shortest guy to do it. And he's 6'6".
Right. Yeah, but he's just got a knack for the ball. There was a play against BU, where they tried to lob it over his head to get it into Mahoney, and he just tips the ball. So timing, positioning, mind for the game has so much to do with his success and how good he is.
Now, Saeed Nelson was able to hit a late shot, which pretty much sealed up the game at that point, gave you a 4-point lead. What did that mean for him? Did that set him apart? Did that give him maybe a little bit more confidence? Because he's had some struggles in late-minute situations.
Right, yeah. Well, he plays so many minutes, and his knees are bothering him a little bit. So, so I think I attribute it a lot to that. But for him to sort of drive strong and be able to, finish through contact has been something that we've been working on with him, because he's going to get to the hole. He's going to be in that situation over and over and over. So for him to sort of see the ball go in, I think is important for his growth and development.
How important was it in the BU game for you guys to get off to a good start and sort of set the tone? Having beat them earlier this season, get off to a good start against them in the midst of what was then the 7-game losing streak.
Right, yeah. Making shots early is always important, and scoring, so you don't have to put so much pressure on your defense. BU playing his zone, it forces you to pass the ball around. So getting our guys into the mindset of just sharing the ball right away, I think, is important. We spent so much time on our zone offense that when BU went to man, for the first couple minutes, it looked like we completely forgot our man offense. But sort of they sort of figured things out and were able to pull it out.
Now, you had said after the game against BU that you wanted to see the man offense sort of pass the ball more, share the ball more. What can you do to sort of get the guys to that point?
Well, again, it's just reps. Okay. Playing, them getting comfortable playing with each other, knowing what each other's gonna be thinking about doing, and getting guys just more aggressive. So again, especially freshman guys like Jesse, obviously Sam, has played so many minutes, and he's a good player and he's comfortable out there. But just getting Jesse, Marvin, Stacy, those guys sort of comfortable, being aggressive and doing things offensively, and not just being sort of passive, just guys going through the offense and not really contributing. So again, you saw it with a few possessions last night with Marvin, and we got to get Jesse up to speed too. And
with this being such a young team, there's so much room for growth that's got to, from a coaching perspective, be a big positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite the record and how difficult it's been, after I watch the tape of every game, I'm a juice for practice, because there is so much room for growth, and you see little improvements from each guy at different times. So you're losing by 3 and 2 and 5, whatever it is. I still see the positives, and I think the group can be very good. And even with Jesse, he looked sort of against Lehigh was like the first time that I thought, okay, he can play 30 minutes if he has to. It was the first time I felt like that, because he missed a whole month. But he's also, he was being more aggressive against Loyola just offensively and against Lehigh. So I think, he has a lot of room for growth, and I'm excited about him.
Lots of excitement here at American University after the win against Boston University. Next up, it's on the road at Lafayette. We'll talk about that as AU Hoop Talk continues.
In the Patriot League, our playbooks look a little different. Here, we play to win on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. A competitive athletic experience with high academic standards. Today's scholar athlete, tomorrow's leaders. That's the Patriot League.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk. Last weekend, the AU community came together to celebrate the Cassell Hall of Fame class of 2018, consisting of 3 new members. Field hockey's Maureen Daniel, cross country and track's Sean Duffy, and national champion wrestler Josh Glenn.
Big smile on your face, Hall of Fame Day. You're going to be inducted a little bit later on today. What does this mean to you?
It's an honor. It's truly an honor. It's not something that I expected, but to be in an induction class with athletes like Josh and Sean, it's truly an honor.
Now you say not something you expected, and yet you guys went to a couple of Elite Eights. You played on the U.S. national team. Really? You didn't expect this?
No, and I was a defender, and usually being a defender is like kind of the quiet, side of things. It's not as flashy as offense or something. So I knew I was proud of my career, but I did not expect an honor like this.
It's an awesome accomplishment. It's great to have some of the teammates and coach back and things that helped me get here. So it's an awesome honor. I can't thank the university enough.
Now, when you look at the record books, you're still hanging on to a couple of those, right?
Just a couple. We'll see how it shakes out. It's been 12 years. Hopefully, somebody comes along and breaks them. It's always good to see a record be broken.
What does that mean to you to hear Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think it's a great honor. Glad to be part of the small elite group that's made it to the Hall of Fame for American, and really excited to be here for our family today.
Now you think back to the 197 pounds, 2007 national title. We're actually standing beneath the banner. Big smile on your face.
Oh yeah, of course. It seems like a long time ago, but when I look back on it, it's just like yesterday at the same time. So we had a great team that year, a bunch of great coaches, and it all paid off.
Our Hall of Fame inductees were honored at halftime of the men's basketball game against Lehigh and then enshrined into the Hall of Fame later that night.
For any contribution I made, I gained back 100-fold in relationships and experience. I felt safe, accepted, and loved, which allowed me to launch at full speed towards goals of the highest caliber. I could not have imagined a more ideal environment in which to pursue my studies. The success of a student-athlete hinges on the ability to juggle many demands. AU asks a lot of its student-athletes, and in turn provides the resources needed for success. I am so grateful to the university administration, staff, and my former professors for the support and encouragement I received as a student-athlete.
Also want to thank American University, the athletic department. A lot of people in this room don't know that I had a pretty subpar first semester. And that's putting it lightly. That winter break, Coach and I had a conversation, and he said to me, "Is this something you want to do?" And I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Okay, well, you're going to come back to school, and you're going to get there." The athletic department, the university, as I've seen with many NCAA athletes who don't do well in their first semester, could have very easily laid me to waste. I don't stand at this podium without the athletic department and the university. They gave me a second chance. I took grasp of that second chance, and for that I am forever grateful to this university.
We have our time here as adults, as student athletes, as students across the place to kind of make our impact on the world. But the biggest impact comes from what we leave when we depart. Through our kids, through the institutions we support, as facilitators, as administrators, as teachers, all that. So I truly do appreciate everyone's support along the way. And I would just challenge everyone, all of us, to make sure we still take those actions and use those appropriate rhetoric so we can move forward our families, our teams, AU, and our country in a better direction. It's not easy. It's a lot easier said than done. We see that kind of play out over and over again all the time. But it's definitely doable. And it happens kind of one day at a time, one small step at a time. So something to keep in mind, something I strive for every day in my life, just to be a little bit better. Because I know that my actions, my words, they're reflective of who I am, of who my family are, and kind of who I represent all the time. Just because I'm not at American every day anymore, doesn't mean I don't reflect this place and doesn't identify with me. So it's something I'd ask everyone to keep in mind as well. It was a tremendous experience here. It was great being a part of this family, and thank you guys for everything you've done.
Congratulations to our Hall of Fame class of 2018. To watch their entire speeches, be sure and log on to aueagles.com. AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan continues as we look forward to the men's game against Lafayette.
In the Patriot League, our playbooks look a little different. Here, we play to win on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. A competitive athletic experience with high academic standards. Today's scholar athlete, tomorrow's leaders. That's the Patriot League.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk as we're now getting ready for the Eagles game this weekend against the Lafayette Leopards on the road. And always a tough trip to go up to the Kirby Sports Center and go up against Frano Hanlon.
Their teams usually score. You know, they're very good offensively, and obviously with Klinuski in the middle, you know, just had all the experience that he has. He's a handful himself, and you know, just their motion offense is difficult to guard.
Now you look at Klinuski and Jaworski, two big guys that obviously are big bangers in there that make it really tough to go up against a team like that. What are some things that you can do to sort of, you know, try to stem that a little bit?
I think you know, having Jesse back will help. You know, just because Sam won't have to bang and, you know, sort of handle, you know, Jaworski defensively on his own for an entire game, which is difficult to do, requires a ton of energy. But I think just overall our five guys out there just communicating, because there is so much motion and slipping and, you know, doing all the stuff that they do. You know, it requires a lot of energy and a lot of sort of individual man-to-man defense, just guarding drivers and one-on-one players.
Alex Petrie making a big impression here in the Patriot League. His rookie season, he brings the speed component.
He can put the ball in a basket. I think having a senior like Klinuski on his team to sort of, you know, do all I call it the heavy lifting of, you know, getting him open shots, setting ball screens, finishing at the rim, rebounding, all that kind of stuff. I think allows a lot of, you know, the young guards in the league, older guys like that, allows the young guards in the league to sort of, you know, flourish. So, you know, we got to be mindful of him and his mindset, which is to try to score.
And it's going to be interesting to see Petrie and Iorio, two of the guys that are the favorites for Rookie of the Year in the Patriot League, to be playing in the same game.
I think you know, Sam has had a heck of a year, not just numbers-wise, but just the responsibility that we give him. He's taking on Klinuski's role, which is making our team win. And a lot goes into that, just more than just all the points that he scores and rebounds and everything. It's, you know, just feeling confident when the ball's in his hands and the decision making, and the number of minutes that Sam's played, for him to do what he's doing consistently. You know, you don't see too many young guys doing that.
Yeah, Sam playing 40 minutes in the game against BU. A game that, by the way, I noticed the shirt you were wearing. You had a very classy Taylor on the cuff there. You had your initials. Are you gonna be wearing the same shirt? Are you that type of guy that
no, I'm not too superstitious, but Alana, my wife, is in charge of the sartorial splendor you see each game. So.
She does a good job. Do you have more than one shirt with that? Do you have a blue one as well, or just
I don't. I'll tell her to get on it.
Okay, yeah. Let's get a little variation there. That'll do it for this edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan. For Coach, I'm Dan. See ya.